Pisces, I'm here to drop in with you to get you some messages from Spirit. We're going to be doing a little read here to see what kind of energies are coming up on your path and how you can best flow with the changes and opportunity for transformation that they present to you. These are more ethereal aligned messages. It's more about like the inner work that needs to be done, or a perspective that needs to be gained, or something that Spirit is just really wanting to highlight for you that will help you open up to a whole new dimension of experience on your path. I wanted to just switch it up a little bit because we've been bringing in so many reads lately. And I find that some of the messages are feeling a little bit repetitive in some cases. So maybe this coming in initially, you're dealing with something that feels a little bit repetitive. You might be in kind of like a karmic loop with something and you're trying to get to the other side of it. You could be dealing with a repeat sort of theme popping up on your path at this time, and you're trying to find a way to sort of bypass the loop. You know, how do I break free of this loop? How do I just break free, period? You might be wanting some kind of liberation from a particular cycle that you've been moving through. All right, I'm going to open up first by getting sort of a basis of the matter from my great big oracle deck here, and then we'll spring off from there. This is just going to be a little brief drop in. We're going to do like 15-20 minutes max, and let's see what we got coming in for you. This is for any significant Pisces placement: Pisces sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, a prominent 12th house placement, or if you happen to have Virgo rising, that would make you a Pisces descendant. I just noticed on the split of the deck, vampire, emotional intelligence. So you might be dealing with a situation where somebody is sort of energy harvesting, draining your energy. You're feeling like some kind of siphoning in the chakra center. I'm picking up sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, that second chakra, the power point of your creativity. It might be creating some blockages on your path from manifesting a new direction forward. There might be a particular character that you're dealing with, somebody that you are connecting with, potentially an intimate partner that might be kind of like courting into you in that way, or somebody that you just feel an energetic attachment to that is really draining your energy. This has like a parasitic kind of feel to it. I think there's a need to use your emotional intelligence when it comes to this particular character. This might be somebody that has recently reached out to you or is trying to like come back into your sphere, or perhaps you just feel it on an energetic level. You might be somewhat tempted to tap into that energy. I say that because the vampiric energy can also be a bit seductive. It can be a bit enticing. So if you've gotten used to connecting with somebody on the astral and that's something that is tempting for you because you sort of feel the energy coming back around, or you're wanting to sort of like tap into somebody's energy, there's something here about being aware of bringing more discernment into that. The ways that it can be a tie that binds, the ways it can siphon your empowerment. Yes, there's something here. Look at this, Alpha of Alcyon, and it's reminding me of those loops and spirals that we travel. It's also reminding me of the Eye of Shiva, and that's both a creative and a destructive force. So it's something about not needing to really tap into another's energy and not allowing another to feed off your energy either. That it's so important that you are the master of your creative power, your creative energy, and that you use this in a very positive, life-affirming way rather than a destructive way. It keeps you traveling in the same loops and spirals. So this could be a particular connection that you need to review that is somehow providing blockages in your growth, okay? Let's see what wants to come in here for Pisces moving forward. Spirit, what do you want Pisces to be aware of? What is the spiritual work ahead of them at this time? Okay, let's go ahead and do baseline energy. I'm going to do this 3 times just to sort of get a baseline. Dvara Patra. Okay, so this is about really something that wants to manifest through you. It's got big Ace of Cups energy. There's some inspiration that is trying to get through to you right now. This might feel divinely inspired, right? There's something about connecting with the solar energy at this time that is very helpful for you. And when I think of solar energy, I think of the masculine active force as well. So I think that you've spent a lot of time where you've been in this receptive place. I think that you're an intuitive person. I think you're very aware of what you feel. I think you're able to really pick things up energetically. But I feel what needs to come in now is maybe more of that solar energy. You might want to actively spend some time in the sun, maybe even do a little morning sun gazing. There's a way to do this that's not harmful to the eyes. Normally, you know, you think of looking into the sun, it's damaging for the eyes, right? But there is a method for doing sun gazing that is actually very supportive of the nervous system, very supportive of the entire endocrine system. It's also stimulating for the pineal gland and can actually bring an amplification of visioning abilities. And so what you would do is you go out into the morning sun. It's usually best in the morning sun before the rays are at their strongest. You don't really want to do this at high noon. You know, that could be a little too intense for the sensitivity of your eyes, but it's a nice way to start the day, just greeting the sun, sitting outside around the elements and looking up at the sky. You know, you're already starting the day out with, you know, head toward the sky, face toward the sky, which already invites in a certain sort of energy of optimism, you know what I mean? And you're facing the light and just thinking about what kind of energy you're wanting to call in for that day, or what are your intentions for that day? What are you wanting to shift in your life? What are you wanting to find enough fire to transform in your life? Because when we're looking at that solar energy, it's all about the Agni. It's about the transformative fire that we carry within ourselves. 8:08 on the clock. Okay, so this is a really positive step for you that can help align you with your path of manifestation for the vision you want to bring into your reality at this time. So you would just gaze up at the sun, but with your eyes closed most of the way. So you want to leave your eyes just a sliver open, so your eyelashes kind of shield your retina a little bit there, okay? And you turn your face toward the sun and you just stare into the sun. You'll know when you've had about enough of it, because usually you'll get a little tearing in the eyes. And this is a good sign. It means the lymph system is activated and things are starting to move. And it's a wonderful time to just sort of gaze at the sun and then set your intentions for the day, or ask for any guidance that you're needing to come through that day to help guide you on the right path forward. What is the best action for me to take at this time? Because the solar energy is all about that active force. It's about taking action. I feel if you do this, this is going to prevent missteps on the path. It's like there's something that needs to be illuminated moving forward to prevent missteps on the path, and a real mindfulness about what you're creating right now, because I feel like it's going to amplify your manifestation abilities. And I think there's something here about really aligning with your north node of destiny, your true purpose, that will become illuminated for you as you do this. There's also the piece here about it brings in, it draws down some kind of creative source of inspiration for you that will provide a fulfilling new beginning for you in your life. It also will help clear out some heaviness from the heart center, which I think will be very helpful for you as well, okay? So this also is getting you ready for some kind of new emotional beginning to take root in your life too. you might need to clear out some of that more like kind of shadowy influence or the remnants of a very difficult relationship, somebody who maybe took and took and took from you and sort of left you feeling empty or running low on your reserves. She feels, she knows. Yes. Okay, so this is about also the activation of your intuition. You could have felt recently like maybe the intuition was a little cloudy or that it was difficult for you to really get in touch with what you were feeling, maybe because the emotions were very activated or stirred up. Again, it looks like there's been some kind of influence that's been draining your energy to a certain extent. And this is also about trusting what you're feeling too. And if you know that something is depleting for you or that a particular connection is having a negative impact on you or your life or a particular habit or something that you've just been actively engaged in that just leaves you feeling depleted, low energy, or not confident, not like yourself, you really need to pay attention to that because it's coming forward to illuminate something for you that needs to be transformed. For some reason, I'm getting that it has something to do with blocking your confidence, okay? So there's something that you're engaged in some way. It could be a connection. It could be a particular activity, a particular habit, or something that you just have your focus on, that the more you focus on this thing or the more that you move in this direction or the more you interact with this person, the more it affects your own sense of confidence or self-worth. So there's something to pay attention to here because it might be highlighting something that you need to lean into a little bit more deeply in yourself. And this is kind of like a smoke screen, whatever this thing outside of yourself is that you're fixated on or that you're really feeding too much energy. It's keeping you from getting really in touch with your own internal knowing of what is best for you. It's like once you get the distractionary energy out of the way and you really allow yourself to sink into what you're feeling, then there will be the illumination of the way through and what you really need to put your energy toward, you know, what you really need to be focused on. There's something here about a certain intuition you have about a particular, I'm picking up it's around a particular person that you're dealing with. And I feel like this is somebody that you're drawn to and it tempts you, but there's also something about it that you know it's not really the best for you. And maybe in some way it's trying to serve as a false sense of confidence or empowerment in your life. And really, the true confidence and empowerment is not in this outside source. It's something that needs to rise up inside of you. It's also, this thing is actually having the opposite effect. It's creating less confidence and it's making you feel more dependent on its approval or its influence in your life in order for you to feel this upliftment or like you got this level up. And it's like it's false. It's false. It's actually having the opposite effect. And maybe there's something that if you tune in more to what you're feeling internally, this will become more evident to you. Right, one more time, and then we'll actually do a shuffle here and see what comes out. Defend to the end the worthwhile, all right? And there is something here that has caused a lot of pain. There is something here that has caused some loss, that's caused some grief, something you've been moving through. I feel like you've been activating a lot of your wisdom. I think you've been really reviewing the experiences of the past, what you've learned about being in similar positions, because I don't feel like this is your first time dealing with something like this. And it was 14:44 on the clock. So you know there's something that you need to change here. You know that there's something here that's, you know, it's a bit of a shadow influence, but you do have the wisdom to see through this, you know? You do. And with great horned owl medicine coming in here, it's also about really activating that warrior spirit within. And it's also a bit of singing the bones. You know what I mean? I feel like your ancestors are coming through in regard to this. This might even be like some kind of generational curse, you know, that you need to break. You need to be the break in that chain of what's held back your ancestors. And I felt blockage there, okay? And it has something to do with using your voice, bringing your voice forward, speaking your truth, and also activating your purpose, all right? And maybe in past lives, this purpose that is awakening in you has been suppressed before. Maybe it's something that's been suppressed in the bloodline. I feel like there's some wisdom you need to grok here that's about your roots. It's about the stock you come from. You know what I mean? It's about those who came before you. And maybe this is a pattern of behavior or something you've seen play out within the family dynamic repeatedly in your life. And you're being asked to have the courage to really look at how you can activate your wisdom in moving forward so you don't continue to just travel in these same loops and spirals, and you can bring about an entirely different outcome in this situation. I feel like you're meant to, you know, break some oppressive influence. It feels like it's a repeat pattern. Maybe it's a familial pattern. Maybe it's a pattern that's played out within your ancestral bloodline. So, you know, tap your roots a bit, lean into that a bit. I got that there may even be a grandmother influence that's been coming through for you, perhaps in your dreams, or you've just felt their spirit very close to you. You've been getting some kind of guidance or some kind of consolation, some kind of comfort. It's like they're working very closely with you right now. I feel like they're watching over you. There's sort of protection coming from this influence. That's coming in for somebody out there, right? But there is some wisdom that wants to be activated through your bloodline. And it's through breaking free of this oppressive influence that you actually get to activate your purpose, okay? It's being blocked because of what you're aligning yourself with. And it's something that you know it only causes you pain, or it only creates a sense of loss, or it negatively impacts you in some way, or you're always feeling like you're struggling with it, you're in the dark, you're having trouble finding the way through, and it was 17:44 on the clock. I feel like this is something that's actually blocking your manifestations. And once you tap into that, you reclaim your power, and then you're able to really, you know, birth that creative vision that wants to come through you, all right? You may feel like you've been dealing with roadblocks, but it has something to do with something you're actively engaged in, somebody you're actively engaged with that is blocking this vision. And when I brought that in, it was 18:08 on the clock. Okay, so yes, the getting on the right track with birthing this new beginning in your life that you want to see. And I feel it's especially a new beginning that wants to come through you creatively, and also a new emotional perspective and emotional receptivity. So you can really come into connection with that which will pour into you and feel very fulfilling for you, instead of always dealing with these sort of like 5 of Cups experiences that fall flat, that lead to disappointment, all right, where the cups get spilled, the promise is spilled. All right, so let's go ahead and do a cut of the deck, because I'll finish off with a cut of the deck here. All right, but I'm going to get a shuffle first. All right. It's a big deck. It's a big deck I'm working with here, right? I got to work with it a little differently than I do my other decks. What spiritual guidance does Pisces need at this time? Looks like you're being asked to activate your purpose at this time, and it's through the birth of some kind of creative vision and emotional new beginning. But in order to step into this, there's something that you really need to recognize the truth of and release, and it'll create the correct transformation within you. Because this thing is siphoning your energy. It's got energy harvester vibes, okay? It's a block. This person, place, thing is a block for you, right? And we got something coming out from the Halloween oracle here, and it says the lamp, remembrance again. So this is a message that I feel is coming through loud and clear from your ancestors, right? because this is all about remembering who you are, remembering where you come from, you know, remembering those who came before you. And at Halloween, when we put out the lanterns, when we put out the jack-o'-lanterns, it's not only to, you know, call towards us the protection and the love and the welcoming of those who have gone before us, our ancestors, but it's also to ward against malevolent spirits. Okay. So there's a need here to do some warding, to do some protective work. And I feel like this is on a very practical level because I feel like it's something that you're engaging with, you're enticed to engage with it, and yet you know that this thing drags you down, you know what it leads to, and yet the temptation is very strong. You might want to do some active warding if you feel like you have somebody trying to kind of like connect with you on the astral, connect with you energetically. I feel like it may even be connecting sexually, okay? Connecting on the level of astral intimacy, okay? This coming through. You want to be aware of this because that's going to block your creative channel. And it's something you need to be mindful of. There are some different ways that you can do warding around that. It's beneficial to work with something like pyrite, can be very grounding. All right. So you might want to get yourself some pyrite that you can, you know, carry on your person. And if you're noticing it come forward at night, especially when you go to sleep, you might even want to put the pyrite right on top of your navel, just to sort of act as a shield. Now, you can get creative with this as well. You can tap into the spirit of pyrite, the energy of pyrite, and you can envision it as a shield internally, okay, around your sacral chakra. And it will have every bit as much of an influence as if you have the actual mineral on you, okay? So I do encourage you to learn more about pyrite, to do some research around it. I feel like it's coming in as an ally for you, all right? So this just as something initially coming in. It can also be very beneficial to do some warding with what's called witch's salt, okay? Don't get too hung up on that if you're not into the witchy stuff, okay? You could call it shaman salt if you wanted to. I mean, I don't really like throwing the word shamanism around like that, though. But it's basically using the ashes of incense you burn, any kind of herbs you burn, and blending those with equal parts of sea salt. I believe this came up for you a long time ago. I did a read for Pisces a long time ago, and this same message came up for you about needing to work with a warding salt like this. So it might be something that's coming back around the bend. When did I bring that in? I want to say that I brought that in sometime near the beginning of 2023. It was a while ago that I did that read, all right? So it might be something that's kind of coming back around the bend that you need to be mindful of. There's some kind of healing in the energy body that needs to happen here, okay? But anyway, you get equal parts of anything that you've burned in any kind of devotional work you've been doing, anything for clearing, anything that connects you to spirit, any kind of workings you've been doing, and you take those ashes and you blend them with sea salt. And then what you can do is you can take that salt, it's a warding salt, and you can put just a pinch of it in each corner of your room. So if you're noticing that it's coming through at night, I'm picking that up, that you feel this energy come in at night when you're trying to sleep, or it might wake you up out of your sleep, or maybe it's coming through in your dream state and you're just having really unusual stuff happen in your dreams that's causing you to wake and feel like the energy is a little bit off. You could even put a little dish of it beneath your bed, okay? I encourage you to do it in the bedroom if it's coming through at night. I'm feeling that very strongly. It's in the bedroom, okay? That says something to do with when you lay down to sleep. It's like your defenses are down, and so this is when this energy is coming in, and it's causing this loss of power in your own, your own fuel source. Okay, so there's something you need to be mindful of here. Experiment with this, all right, and just make note of the difference you feel in the energy you wake up with, also just your mental state, your emotional state, and does it stop this from tapping in? And I don't know why I feel called to bring this in, but I do. If you almost regret that it didn't tap in, you might need to be aware that there's something that's already kind of like become a little too entrenched in your energy field, and you might want to look at doing some extraction work. I don't mean cord cutting. I mean pull it out from the root. And I will pin a video in the comments that gives you some techniques for doing that work, because I am picking up here that there's like a familiarity with this energy that's siphoning you. And because of this, you might be too enmeshed with it. In fact, it might be difficult at points to tell, is this my energy, or is it something coming up in me, or is it something outside of me? All right. So you might need to do this just to become clear about the internal motivations that are operating as well, because I feel it'll give you some kind of clue about maybe some kind of extraction work that needs to be done in this matter to really like restore your energetic balance. There's definitely something you need to protect yourself from here. And there's something about remembering lessons from the past that's coming through. And maybe it's that grandmotherly influence that's bringing that through. Something that you need to remember from the past, so you don't repeat the same cycle all over again. And so now I'm going to see what that final card is for you. Perfume of Sophia. Okay. So to me, this is about really remembering the beauty of your feminine energy and the need to create the space for that to really thrive, to be able to be vulnerable, and to just allow yourself to release into that softness. And yes, men, this applies to you too. Okay. If you are feeling in any way anxious or not safe, or like something outside of yourself is running the show and tapping into you, automatically it's going to block your ability to have this creative vision come through. Automatically it's going to block your manifestations. Automatically it's going to start to create a sense of loss in your life, and you will see this loss materially as well. So especially with opening up emotionally too into any connections, any relationships where you're having a hard time like bridging the gaps or getting over a particular hurdle because there's abandonment issues or just not feeling safe, it becomes even more essential to create this safe space so you can really like let down your guard, let go, and then allow this inspiration and this communication that intuitively wants to come in for you. Okay, so I feel like there is some need to clear the channel so you can have a clear vision. But in order for this guidance to come in, and it was 29:11 on the clock, okay, 11:11. In order for this alignment to come through for you, that will actually be the activation of wish fulfillment for you, there's a need for you first to protect your space and protect your energy so you can get this influence out of the way and you can see things clearly and hear the guidance clearly that wants to come through for you. So do some warding, especially in your bedroom, so you can really feel at rest and at ease and have clarity in your dream world, and all the guidance comes through, because I feel like that's when spirit really has something of importance to bring through for you.